That little pamphlet kind of says it all. Change of command, area port director, Champlain. But we're not in Champlain. We're on the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base in one of their buildings that the U.S. government has access to, and we see a variety of vehicles, land and air. They're here from the various port of Champlain area. It's the change of command, area port director, Champlain, November 29th, 2017, here at the Plattsburgh International Airport, U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And today, it become official. He's been acting port director for a while, and he was acting port director a few years back, but today Mr. Stephen Bronson will become the official port director for the Champlain area, which runs from the Lake Champlain over several miles to the west, and we'll mention that. I think it goes as far as the Trout River area. It's also divided, it says it's divided here into three sections: the ports of Trout River, Fort Covington, Chateauguay and Churubusco, the ports of Champlain, Cannon Corners, Moores, Champlain, Overton's Corners, that was Route 276, and Rouse's Point. And also, as we learned when we did the September 11th commemoration ceremony this year, that this territory also includes Albany Airport, and of course right here at the Plattsburgh International Airport. So it's a large area of operation, an important area of operation, a very busy area of operation. And there's several dignitaries that are here to officiate at this. We look back to 7 or 8 years ago, and whatever that area time period was, when Paul Mangillo became the area port director. Until Paul took over, Steve was the acting director at that point. So he's very familiar with the position, and very nice that he is stepping up into that spot. And a large gathering is coming here. It's about 40 some odd degrees outside. Not a bad day temperature-wise, but there is heavy rains that could be coming before all is said and done. Whether we'll hear the pitter-patter of raindrops on this metal roof overhead, time will tell. But it's a nice large facility, a lot of room here, a lot of chairs set up, and we're looking forward to today's events. So stay tuned. They'll be coming right up here on Hometown Cable.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests. I am Port Director Robert Dwyer of the Port of Messina and the Master of Ceremonies for today's event. I'd like to welcome you. We are about 5 minutes away from starting. As a courtesy, please silence all cell phones and electronic devices for the duration of the ceremony. If you can take your seats, we will begin shortly. Finally, in terms of protocol, I would like to note that this ceremony is uncovered ceremony, meaning other than the honor guard, participants will not be wearing hats. Therefore, other than the honor guard, salutes will not be rendered indoors. Thank you. We'll begin in about 5 minutes. I would now like to welcome the Bronson family. On behalf of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, welcome to the Office of Field Operations Change of Command ceremony for the area port of Champlain. The change of command ceremony is rooted in military history dating back to at least the 18th century, during the reign of Frederick the Great of Prussia. At that time, organizational guidelines were developed with color arrangements and symbols unique to each particular unit. To this guideline and its commander, the soldiers of the unit would dedicate their loyalty and trust. When the change of command was to take place, the guideline was passed to the individual assuming the command. This gesture was accomplished in front of the unit so that all could see and witness the new leader assuming their dutiful position. Those that held the guideline also held the unit's allegiance. This symbolic tradition has survived throughout military history and is used in many other uniformed organizations such as ours today. Thank you for your attendance today, especially our friends from the community, elected representatives, fellow law enforcement agencies, and members of the military. We hope you enjoy the ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the presentation of the colors. Outgoing Area Port Director, Port of Champlain, New York, and current Director of Field Operations Atlanta, Mr. Donald Gando. Director of Field Operations, Buffalo Field Office, Office of Field Operations, Mrs. Rose Brophy. Incoming Area Port Director, Port of Champlain, New York, Mr. Stephen Bronson. Please remain standing for the presentation of the colors by U.S. Customs and Border Protection Honor Guard, commanded by Champlain Deputy Honor Guard Commander, CBP Officer Brady Favreau.
Stand by. Honor Guard. Hello, team. Carry. Coast.
Our national anthem will be sung by Amanda Roper, a CBP officer in the Area Port of Champlain.
Hey.
Followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. During the presentation of colors, all uniformed personnel are asked to remain at attention and present arms. When given the command, present arms, place your right hand over your heart in honoring our colors.
All uniformed personnel. All team. Present. Ready. Break. March. Mark time. March. Left turn. March. Present. Coast.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Order! Coat!
Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very close. Order! Order! Coat! Post! Coat! Present! Hurt! Order! Hurt! Right turn! March! Mark time. March. On guard. Halt. Order. Hurt. Ready. Cut. Ceremony parade. Rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, CBP Officer Francine Poitras, Area Porter Champlain Champlain, will now deliver the invocation.
Welcome, everyone. Lord, we come to you today with deep gratitude for all you have given us. We recognize that it is an honor to call upon you on behalf of our Customs and Border Protection family. Today, we bring before you our new leader, Port Director Stephen Bronson. We acknowledge with gratitude this opportunity to celebrate his promotion to a position of higher duty and responsibility. We ask that you guide him as he faithfully fulfills his oath and obligation to our country and our agency, that you go before him like a guiding star in the dark. We ask that you stand with him as he continues to uphold the highest standards of honor and excellence in this, a new chapter in his life.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We would like to recognize Mrs. Christina Bronson for her sacrifice and contributions that she has made to support her husband, our agency, and our mission. We would also like to recognize Mr. Bronson's parents, Pete and Charlene Bronson, for their sacrifice and contributions that they have made to support their son, our agency, and our mission. As a small token of appreciation, Honor Guard Member Santana will now present Ms. Christina Bronson with a bouquet of flowers from the Buffalo Field Office. U.S. Customs and Border Protection is comprised of three major uniform components: Office of Field Operations, U.S. Border Patrol, and Air and Marine Operations. Within the Office of Field Operations is the Area Port of Champlain, which is comprised of 9 land border ports of entry with over 350 personnel assigned. The area spans over 60 miles of border between the United States and Canada in northern New York, including the Plattsburgh International Airport, the Albany International Airport, and the Albany Seaport. As the lead representative of field operations in the region, the area port director is also responsible for working with our fellow law enforcement, military, industry partners, elected officials, and community leaders to foster control of our nation's borders. The Department of Homeland Security announced that effective October 15, 2017, by order of the Commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Mr. Stephen Bronson was assigned as Area Port Director, Champlain, Buffalo Field Office, Office of Field Operations, U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Champlain Honor Guard Commander Jeremy Renadette will present DFO Brophy, Stephen Bronson's new Port Director badge. DFO Brophy will now assist Mrs. Bronson in pinning the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Area Port Director badge on Stephen Bronson. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection badge is a symbol of legal authority, a symbol of service, a symbol of public faith. It is pinned close to the hearts of our employees to remind them of their commitment to serve and enforce the laws of the land without fear or favor. Those who wear the badge are expected to oversee the general welfare of the people and ensure that all peace and order is maintained at all times. As we see the badge of honor pinned to their uniforms, we remember the acts of the men and women who serve, making positive impact in the lives of others. At this time, DFO Brophy will ask Area Port Director Bronson to reaffirm his commitment to the protection of the sovereign borders of the United States of America. We invite all CBP personnel who are present, uniformed and non-uniformed, and any other law enforcement officers and members of the military to stand. Raise their right hand and join the Area Port Director Bronson to reaffirm their commitment to diligence and dedication to the protection of the United States of America with the words printed on the back of your program.
I state your name.
I, Steve Bronson,
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend
do solemnly swear I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all foreign and domestic,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
will bear true faith
That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you sitting, please rise. Deliver the colors of the Director of Field Operations, Atlanta, Office of Field Operations, U.S. Customs and Border Protection. U.S. Customs and Border Protection was created on March 1st, 2003, as part of the new Department of Homeland Security, merged from programs in the U.S. Customs Service, U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Service, and U.S. Department of Agriculture's Inspection Service. U.S. Customs Border Protection has assumed the responsibility of protecting our nation's borders. Office of Field Operations is responsible for the ports of entry, traveler and cargo security programs with personnel based around the world. A responsibility that bears dual roles of protecting the nation from those who would do her harm and fostering the travel and commerce that make her strong. To signify assumption of command, outgoing Area Port Director and current Director of Field Operations, Atlanta, receives the OFO guidon from Assistant Port Director Guyette. He then passes the colors to the Director of Field Operations, Buffalo.
stand by with command.
She then passes to the incoming Area Port Director to symbolize the appointment of the officer.
Ma'am, I assume command.
The incoming Area Port Director receives the guidon symbolizing his assumption of command to the Area Port of Champlain. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the Area Port Director of Champlain, Buffalo Field Office, Stephen Bronson. Please be seated. Now I would like to invite Director of Field Operations Buffalo, Rose Brophy, to say a few words.
Thank you, Bob. First of all, good morning, everyone. Lovely to have everyone here today. We have some wonderful weather in the North Country, and that's always a pleasure to have no snow on the ground, so we're very happy about that. First of all, I want to welcome all of you, all of our esteemed guests, Steve's wife, Christina, his family, our law enforcement partners, elected officials, and stakeholders for joining us today. And it would not be the same if we did not have DFO Don Leando with us as well. So thank you all for coming. It truly brings me great joy and honor to recognize Area Port Director Steve Bronson. The Area Port of Champlain is expansive in size. As Bob mentioned, it includes 9 ports of entry spanning 60 miles of the northern border, as well as the Albany Airport and Seaport and the Plattsburgh International Airport. It encompasses a dynamic mission set in an ever-evolving world. I have been fortunate enough to spend a good amount of time in the Area Port of Champlain, getting to know the employees, the operation, and the area since taking on the capacity of Director of Field Operations. Some long days and long weeks, but worth every minute. And I know how special the people here are. And that's what I really want to highlight. The employees of the Area Port of Champlain. The people that make this operation tick. From processing thousands of bus passengers on St. Jean-Baptiste Day at the Port of Champlain, to processing cargo containers at the Albany Seaport, trains in Fort Covington and Rouse's Point, and the thousands of private vessels that are cleared at the Rouse's Point dock in the summer months. It is the people of the Area Port that make it happen. The work that they do day in and day out to facilitate legitimate trade and travel, all while keeping our country safe, is no easy task, and they do it well. But then I ask myself, what makes a group of employees a team? What makes that happen? What makes it tick? And I believe a large part of that answer is a strong leader. The Area Port of Champlain deserves a strong leader. One that is compassionate, understanding, firm when needed, decisive, focused and honest, and inspiration. Those are the characteristics myself and others see in Steve. Those are the characteristics that make him a strong leader. Steve has developed strong relationships with our federal, state, local, tribal, and Canadian partners, as we see here today. He takes the time to get to know the stakeholders of the community and our elected officials and understand the importance of being a great partner. He cares for each and every employee throughout the entire Area Port. He supports his management team and gives them the ability to grow. He has empowered them while always being there to provide support and guidance. And he listens. This might not sound like a big deal, but it really is. He listens to the employees, the management team, the union, the stakeholders, and our partners. Steve knows that we are stronger as a whole than in parts. I truly look forward to the future of the Area Port with Steve at the helm. I know that he will guide us through our projects in the pipeline, like our Plattsburgh User Fee Airport and the multiple facility improvements throughout our Area Port. I also know that Steve will support the drive, focus, and innovation of our agriculture, trade, tactical, and passenger teams. The best is yet to come. Now, when I sat down to write this speech, I had a lot of thoughts in my mind. I wanted to write a lot down, but I realized I can talk a lot. So those who know me, we would have been here for a very long time. So I said I got to keep it short. But I received an email from a former colleague and friend, and I felt what was written was perfect and probably the most appropriate way to finish today. So after reading it, I thought I truly embodied the message today, and I wanted to share it with all of you. It's from our good friend, John Barnes. This is John now speaking. Steve has been and continues to be a wonderful friend to me. He provides me counsel in difficult times and helps me celebrate successes. But more than that, I know I can always count on him to be there no matter what. I believe he conveys the same quality in his leadership style. He epitomizes what it means to have compassion and integrity. I was witness to these qualities firsthand while working side by side with him for 5 years. Maintaining these qualities day in and day out can be difficult and can weigh heavy upon people with lesser conviction and strength. I am excited and happy for Steve and his family as he enters this new chapter in his life. But I'm even happier and more excited for the area port of Champlain and the Buffalo Field Office, who are going to be the beneficiary of such a great person and great leader. And I don't think I couldn't agree more, and I couldn't have said it better. So at this point, I want to congratulate you, Steve, and I look forward to the future of the area port of Champlain. Thank you.
Thank you, DFO Brophy. Director of Field Operations, Atlanta, Donald Yando will now say a few words.
Good morning. It's nice to see so many familiar faces. It's nice to be back in the area. I'd first like to start by thanking DFO Brophy for inviting me to be part of this ceremony. It's truly an honor for me to be here, not only because this is home for me, this is the area I grew up, but because of my very close ties to the people at the Port of Champlain, to the Buffalo Field Office, and especially to Steve. I've been fortunate enough to work side by side with Steve from 2011 to 2016. I can tell you that he epitomizes the core values of U.S. Customs and Border Protection: vigilance, service to country, and integrity. That's Steve. He's a dedicated leader who's compassionate, who's fair, who's engaged, and who understands the importance of family and work-life balance. Speaking of family, I'd also like to thank the Bronson family for sharing so much of your son, your brother, your husband, and your father with us. Mr. Bronson, Jenny, Christina, Dylan, Stephen, I have a lot of adoration and respect for Steve. I know that you all are a part of him every minute of every day, whether he's physically with you or when he's at work spiritually. I know he carries you all with him every minute of every day. The ceremony symbolizes a new beginning for the area port of Champlain. It's time to look ahead. We learn from the past and we move forward. My words of advice to the people of the Champlain area port are to please take advantage of this opportunity with your new area port director to make the port what you want it to be. Help your area port director write your next chapter for the area port of Champlain. You're a group of very dedicated, passionate, talented people. I know that. I witnessed it by working along with you for 5 years. Finally, my words of advice to Area Port Director Bronson: just be yourself. Be true to yourself, who you are, what you believe in. You've got this. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you, DFO Yando. Area Port Director Bronson will now say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your day to take part in today's ceremony. This gathering of federal, state, and local law enforcement partners, along with community and business leaders, reflects the strong professional relationships the area port of Champlain has developed and continue to grow even stronger in the future. I am honored and humbled for the opportunity to be the next area port director of Champlain, New York. Thank you, DFO Brophy, for your confidence in assigning me in this key position. Thank you, DFO Yando, for your service at Champlain. You're sorely missed here by all, and the port's not the same without you. Goes without saying, and everybody here who knows and would agree, DFO Brophy and DFO Yando are not only exceptional CBP senior leaders, They're also two of the most compassionate people you could ever meet. And I'm not just saying that because you're my bosses. Thank you, Plattsburgh International Airport, for hosting today's ceremony. We look forward to being part of the airport's exciting upcoming international flight operations. For the Honor Guard members participating today, the professionalism and dedication is on full display. And congratulations, as always, on a job well done. The Change of Command ceremonies not only identify changes of leadership, it also provides the opportunity for us to reaffirm our mission priorities. The men and women of the area port of Champlain and throughout CBP work tirelessly to protect our homeland. As our other law enforcement partners here today can attest, protecting our country is an all-day, everyday job. And this public service often requires law enforcement personnel extended time away from home, often missing holiday celebrations and other family important events. The area port of Champlain has many modern facilities with state-of-the-art technology, but the port's greatest strength is a dedicated lineup of personnel. I can't thank you all enough for the sacrifices you make and everything you do to keep our country safe and secure. Communities along the international border are the front porch to America. The North Country Chamber of Commerce and other civic groups highlight all the local area has to offer for our visitors and trade partners to feel welcome and supportive on our front porch. Simply stated, CBP's #1 mission is to protect our homeland from people and things determined to do harm to America. We will never let our guard down. We never know when the wolf may be at the door. But also at that door are returning residents, tourists, business partners, and other visitors. And CBP has an important dual mission at our front porch to facilitate legitimate trade and travel, which results in making our community and the United States stronger by enhancing cultural diversity and economic development. I will not be standing here today without the people around me. My mom and dad provided my sister Jenny and I a solid upbringing, which is no easy task growing up in the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont. The patience and mentoring I've gained from supervisors and colleagues I've worked with throughout the last 25 years has provided me the tools to succeed as a port director. But most of all, my wife Christina is the key to any success I've accomplished. Chris has always encouraged me to explore new career challenges and opportunities, which has resulted in great sacrifices on her part. And along with our children, Dylan and Stephen, they have always provided me their full support. I'm truly blessed. Once again, thank you for attending today's ceremony. I look forward to continuing working with everyone in the future.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as the chaplain delivers the benediction.
Dear Lord, we ask that you bless Stephen Bronson as he assumes his role as Port Director of Champlain. Look upon him with favor. Grant him the wisdom and grace he will need and keep watch over him as he comes and goes, both now and forever. Grant abundant blessings upon him, his wife Christina, children Dylan and Stephen, his father Peter, and sister Jenny, represented here today. We ask for grace and strength for them, for as we well know, this will be a calling on all of their lives as well as his. May they all prosper and succeed in everything they endeavor to accomplish. And we pray that you keep your hand of grace, mercy, and protection on our country, and that your providence keep safe all who have taken an oath to serve. Let your blessings and strength continue to enable us to fulfill our sworn and sacred duties. And we ask this in your name, dear Lord. Amen. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the retiring of the colors. All uniformed personnel are asked to remain at attention, ready to present arms when given the command.
Shoulder.
At present arms, please place your right hand over your heart and join me in retiring the colors.
Ready. Forward. March. All uniform personnel, present. Mark time. March. Left turn. March. Present. March. Order. March. Prepare to retreat. Retreat. Colors. Ready. Cut. Ready. Hey, hey, ah. All uniform personnel, order! Order! March! Order! Ready. Ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the ceremony. On behalf of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Office of Field Operation, Buffalo, Area Port of Champlain, we thank you for your attendance today. After a few official photos to archive this historic moment, Area Port Director Bronson will be available for those who want to wish him well. And again, thank you for attending.
We have the Master of Ceremonies here, Mr. Robert Dwyer. Anybody call you Bob?
Yes, most everybody.
Oh, right. I asked you off camera before. There's a Bob Dwyer in Shazy who used to work at Customs, but you're not related.
We are not related, but it did make things confusing when I first got to Champlain because he was already there, and we got confused email and phone-wise on many occasions.
Now you're in Buffalo now?
Actually, in Messina, New York.
Messina. Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Messina. Okay, that's right. Brophy's
She's in Buffalo, yes,
She's
sir.
in Buffalo, that's right. All right, Messina, that's right. So you're the next one over.
Yes, sir.
Did you have a ceremony like this when you took over?
I did not.
You did not?
I did not.
Your choice, or?
No, it was not my choice. It's just that I don't know how that actually works out, but they do it at certain levels. I think below the area port director, they don't do that. So the area port directors and above, they have the change of command ceremony.
So what's your title?
I'm a port director, but I'm of one port. Steve is,
okay.
Mr. Bronson is the area port director over many ports. I'm responsible just for Messina.
Yes,
sir.
okay. which is a pretty busy port.
It's a very busy port.
And is that on the bridge? I've never crossed there, but
It's actually in the town of Roosevelt Town.
Uh-huh.
It is just probably about 7 miles to the east of Messina, the village of Messina. It's right on the edge of the Mohawk Indian Reservation.
okay.
Akwesasne.
And there's a bridge there too.
Yes, there's a bridge that goes right into Cornwall. Yes, we're right on the bridge.
Okay, so how about you're in the Thousand Islands area? Do you have to patrol at St. Lawrence at all, or?
We don't. That responsibility belongs to Border Patrol. They patrol the river. We are where I am in Messina. We're just responsible for what comes over that bridge.
Okay. Now, did you tell me you worked here in the Champlain area for a while?
I did work in Champlain from 1997 till 2003, and then I left here and went to the Port of Trout River, which I was there from 2003 to 2013, and then I went to Messina after that.
Well, I don't know if you ever bumped into my wife Judy. She used to work at Derringer's during the zero tolerance era.
I dealt with Derringer on many occasions, with all the brokers in Champlain.
Myers, excuse me, on Myers.
Oh boy, that's going to get you in trouble.
You worked for both. You worked for both at different times. So Myers.
I was very familiar with all the brokers in Champlain. We did a lot of trucks. We did almost a couple thousand trucks a day back then. It was crazy. It was a lot. It was very busy.
Yeah, I know they used to go up there for the seized vehicles because.
Yes. Yeah.
So Dwyer, there's a lot of Dwyers in our area. Are you from the area at all?
I'm originally from Chateaugay.
Okay.
I actually still reside there.
Pat and all those guys.
I have an uncle Pat. My father's name is Tom. Yes.
Tom, I know Tom. Brian.
Brian is my brother.
Yeah.
Deacon Brian. That's right.
Brian.
That's
Okay.
right. So,
I don't think your father's ever brought you over to Isle of Mont with him, though.
When I was a kid, we used to go over all the time. Yes, sir, all the time. And the big treat back then was if we were good, we would stop at the Dairy Queen in Champlain and get some ice cream on the way home. But many a times we just kind of drove past there and we didn't stop because we weren't that good. So.
Oh, no.
So that happened on a few occasions.
A tough father.
It was tough. It was tough.
When I see him next year, I'll have to chastise him.
Okay, you do that. I will not, but you can do that.
You get all the ice cream you want now?
All that I can handle.
Okay, good. Well, Bob, appreciate you being here. You did a fine job.
Thank you very much.
And say hello to your folks when you see them, because I see them at least once a year at the shrine in Isle of Mont.
I certainly will do that.
I haven't seen Brian much anymore, but he's busy.
Right. He is very busy, actually.
And congratulations on your position. That's nice.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And thanks for taking good care of my son Caleb while he worked
Absolutely.
there.
He was a pleasure to work with.
All right, thanks, Bob.
Take care. Thank you.
I'm the only person in the building who hadn't had my picture taken yet with this guy. Everybody wanted to get their picture taken with Steve Bronson today.
Quite a deal, yeah.
Yes. A. Stephen Bronson. What's the
Yes,
A?
Arnold.
Arnold
Yeah.
Stephen. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I'm the fifth Arnold in my family. It doesn't go by Arnold. We all go by our middle name, so it's kind of a family tradition. So
Oh, okay.
It's really confusing also to the IRS and other people, so it's confusing.
It's not me, it's the other guy.
Oh, yeah. Keep them guessing.
Well, it's the old in French Canadians, everybody used to be called Joseph. And the mothers were Mary. All the daughters were Mary and the sons were Joseph, so it'd be Joseph, Stephen, and whatever.
That's where I got it from.
Now, how long ago was it that Paul Mangillo got his title?
It's been 10 years. 10 years ago.
10 years.
Yeah.
I was speculating. Tom Bayshard came over and we were trying to figure out how long it had been, but I was guessing 7 or 8, but 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
And even at that young age, before he took over, you had been acting director at that time. So this is a position that you're kind of familiar with the duties here, Steve.
Yeah, I've had many tryouts for the job, so it finally worked out.
For those who haven't seen us at our 9/11 ceremonies, give us a little recap of your history. You're originally from Vermont?
From Vermont. I grew up in Northeast Kingdom, Vermont, and been working around the country. Spent some time in Savannah, Georgia, and Brunswick, Georgia, and my family are Southerners, but we've all moved up here, back North Country, 10 years ago. So it's been 10 quick years, 2007 till present, back in the North Country.
Okay, so your bride is from the South?
St. Simon's Island. Yeah, the first year was rough. We moved up here in end of January, and it was like the worst winter ever. There was a couple of touch and go moments, but it worked out. Now she refuses to leave. So,
let's see. Okay,
yeah, we're good. We're
good.
Yeah.
She's going to stay now.
Oh yeah, she likes the seasons and likes the area and the people. So we're good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So this is quite an honor. Now give me the pecking order here. Now Brophy is your immediate.
She's our director of field operations for all of Buffalo. All the Buffalo area, which includes all the state of New York except for New York City.
Okay.
And then it's just a huge area to cover. And then there's another airport director over in Alexandria Bay. So there's the A Bay, and then there's Champlain, and then there's Buffalo the three major ports on the northern border for New York State.
Okay, then there's people like Dwyer who have just one port.
Yep. Dwyer's in Messina.
So he works directly under.
He works for the
Brophy?
Brophy in the A-Bay chain of command.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've got what, 6 or 9? 9 ports.
9, yeah. Fort Covington all the way over to Ross's Point, and then of course Albany and Plattsburgh, upcoming Plattsburgh operations. So.
It's going to be expanding here at the Plattsburgh
Oh, for
International
sure.
Airport.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
going to be exciting times when we'll be rolling the main terminal. We're going to have our space right over there, and we're going to have officers at the airport ready to process whatever comes.
Now, 25 years or so ago, I'm going to throw you a curve here. Bob Ben and I were doing a story with Dick Gaines at Gaines Marina in Rouse's Point, and he pointed to a little landing pad there and said, "This is an international
That's a
airport."
great trivia question, yeah. I use that a lot.
Is that still an international airport at Gaines Marina?
Oh, yeah. It's the only northern border international airport for seaplanes. And we still get every year we get these forms we have to fill out, and people are like, "Are you kidding me?" It's like, it's a trivia. When I go to meetings and stuff, I always, because I go to the big airports, always talk about there. Well, we have an international seaport on Lake Champlain. Beat that. So
we invented.
Yeah. It's designated as a Class A seaport.
So that's part of your duties too.
Oh yeah, and there's still planes still land there. They still come in and land and go underneath the bridge and go to the marina.
So they got to call you ahead and let you know.
Oh yeah, they give us pre-arrival, and it's always a treat to see them come in and not hit the bridge. It's a tricky landing for them, so it's good.
So this is a job you're not going to have to learn on the duty here because you've already.
Well, I got a lot still to learn. My duties have changed a little bit, and it's a different set of responsibilities. I think of it as I'm a baseball guy, and I went from third base coach to being the manager. So, I mean, I know the routine, but still, it's a little different when you make the lineup. It's on, it's a little different.
You're Joe Girardi now.
Yeah,
You've been replaced. So.
Hopefully I'll have. Well, he had a good run. So
yeah,
I'd be happy with that too.
Well, because from Vermont, you're probably a Red Sox fan. Anyway.
No, I'm an Orioles fan.
Orioles.
Yeah, I grew up in the Cal Ripken era, so watching him growing up, I just ended up being a Baltimore Orioles fan. So.
Okay, he was named after me,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's named after his father.
Oh yeah, it was his dad and.
See.
Oh yeah, his dad and brother and.
His father was Cal Senior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
So it's got to be exciting for your whole family. Your kids have kind of adopted the helicopter.
Yeah, I was nervous when I saw that they called it the bird. When the bird was here, I was like, oh, hopefully Stevie doesn't push the buttons and cause any damage. But he behaved himself pretty well.
He behaved himself so far. He realizes it's not your personal property.
Yeah,
right?
if take-home cars or take-home vehicles, take the home. No, it's not mine. It's somebody else's.
It's not going to land in your backyard to pick you up and bring you to work.
Never, no.
Okay, anything, Steve, that we should know that how you're feeling today and all that kind of stuff?
I just think it goes to show the turnout how important the airport is to the area and the border, both sides of the border. I mean, I grew up on the border. My family is from Canada, so.
You grew up in Derby Line, didn't you tell me? Yeah.
My dad was Canadian. He volunteered in the Vietnam War and became a U.S. citizen based on his volunteer. And so I still, my memories of growing up was back across that border. There never was a line when I was growing up. It just felt like, so that's how I come out of this job is we do have an important job, protect the homeland, but also the community has to feel welcome and know the border is their border.
Yeah, you don't want to be harassing the people who are just coming back from a pleasant visit or whatever, but you've got jobs to do.
We work hard at it because people, Champlain is a remote area, but that port of entry up there is one of the busiest ports in the country. Montreal is 4 million people, and Boston, New York City, we're remote, but what happens there is pretty significant. So we try to balance that with also keeping everybody coming across without much hassle. So.
How many employees at total in the?
We're on 400.
That's a lot.
Plus or minus, yeah.
And of course, you're open 24 hours a day.
Yeah, and they were never closed. We recently just looked around. We don't even have locks on our doors. So we never closed.
Lock them, right?
So we're just like going to buy some locks. So yeah, we know we're always open, and the officers and the staff really sacrifice being there day and night.
Now, there are some ports that are only open during the summer months that are closed for the...
Yeah, we reduce hours some locations, and just make economic sense. The traffic is so limited. Plus, there's another port east or west, a few miles away. So we do some of the limited hours, but most of them are 24/7.
And those ports there, I imagine the Border Patrol spends a little more time worried about them because...
for sure. They partner up with us, but they have a good grasp of things, the Border Patrol, and we work together well. So.
And of course, in Derby Line, as you said, there was no line there, but
Yeah.
There's buildings still there
Oh,
that
yeah.
are in both countries.
Sure, it's a
And it was the same way in Champlain years ago.
Yeah.
There were buildings that were built right on the line, and you could step from one side to the other. And of course, 1789 was when customs first got started, and it was at that point we weren't worried about as much invaders as we were about
for sure.
product and making money.
Yeah.
Revenue had to be had. So getting that revenue is also a part of what you do too.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's $1 billion every month. It comes through Champlain. I mean, south and north and south, the trade that's coming through is just amazing. The effect on the economy, how much product comes through, and trade partners, and a lot of our Plattsburgh businesses are Canadian based.
Right.
And those not just the commercial merchandise they bring, it's also the people. A lot of work visas and stuff, and we make sure we keep that all facilitated so we can.
Yeah, you've got to know a lot of different things about a lot of.
It's not just the commercial side. It's a lot of business professionals that come in through.
Right. So you've got to make sure they're obeying the rules, but also at the same time you want to facilitate
Exactly.
businesses on both sides of the border.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Steve?
No, thanks for hanging around. Thanks for coming today.
That's all right.
Really appreciate it.
Only hung around an extra hour waiting for you.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. Okay. Thank
You're
you.
the man of the day. Everyone
Yeah.
wanted to get their picture taken with you.
you.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Thank
thank you. All right, this is Mr. Steve Bronson. We've been at, I'll give it the sign right here, the Change of Command Area Port Director, Champlain. And we're here at a building on the Plattsburgh International Airport. It's November 29th, 2017. And this is the Change of Command for U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And when you're coming through that Champlain port or one of the ones nearby, Steve Bronson's the man in charge of those employees. So, and they're there working for us, protecting our country with our first line of defense. These people that protect our borders, not just for the economics, but also for keeping people that don't belong here and out of here. So thanks to Judy for running that camera for a good part of this, and thank you for watching viewer-supported local television, Hometown Cable TV. We think is worthy of your support. Again, thank you for watching.